we know that the jury really looked at all the charges individually and really paid attention to this. I mean, besides an acquittal on all charges, this is probably the best that Sean Combs could expect, because he was found not guilty of the most serious charges, which would have landed him in prison for life. So what he was found guilty of, and it's kind of amazing because the women were on the stand for days and days, and there were tears, and everyone said it was very emotional. But he was found not guilty of sex trafficking in regards to his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura and another woman who was named Jane. So he now faces. So what he was found guilty of was transportation to engage in prostitution. And so that means that the jury saw that he flew women around the country in order to get them to engage in prostitution. What's another odd thing is yesterday afternoon, the jurors said, we are deadlocked on count one, the racketeering conspiracy, which is the most difficult count.
Right.
And we have people there who won't budge. And they came in this morning, and an hour later, they have a verdict of not guilty on that top charge, which says a couple of things to me. Tomorrow, the courts are closed. The jury wants to get home. So probably we'll find out, but probably the holdouts on that top charge said, forget it. We're caving. I mean, we'll find out what happens. But I mean, the fact that they came out with a not guilty on that top charge after saying they were deadlocked on it and they couldn't reach a verdict in an hour is sort of amazing. And it'll be interesting to see what the jury, I mean, I assume that Combs is not happy that he was found guilty on this, but the maximum he could get is 10 years in prison, and it was far worse. And also you can see the the defense having some appellate issues about mixed verdicts are also often looked upon weirdly by appellate courts. So I think that, or they tried to make them do that. So I think that it's sort of an amazing.
So is he going to
verdict.
do any time here? I guess.
Yeah, I think he is going to do time.
Okay.
Interesting.
But there's going to be definitely an appeal. Now he's in prison. He has not been given bond, so he's been in prison for about a year in Brooklyn federal detention lockup, which is not the most pleasant of places, even among prisons. So I don't think the judge is going to let him out on bail pending sentencing, pending the appeal, which they often do. So we'll see what happens, but I expect that he will be sentenced to prison time, but it won't be more than 10 years, which he was facing life in prison with the other counts. So the jury acquitted him of all those counts that he would have spent his life in prison.
Wow. And June, when we look at this case, I mean, we saw the defense and we saw a lot of people really focusing on what was allegedly some of the domestic violence videos and whatnot that we saw between him and Cassie Ventura. And so a lot of people were looking at this case thinking about it from a domestic violence standpoint. And I know that the defense was echoing that we're looking at something different here. When we see how all this played out, were these charges and ultimately what the jury decided in terms of the verdict, was it expected?
Were the charges expected?
Was the verdict expected?
No, I don't think the verdict was expected. I think that the racketeering conspiracy the top charge was very difficult for the prosecution to make out here, because not only did they have to find the jury underlying acts, but they also had to find that there was an enterprise. And during closing arguments, I believe the defense put up a picture of Combs and his whole entire entourage and his family and said, does this look like an enterprise? So that was a difficult count, but I assume, the prosecution, certainly I think they expected guilty verdicts on the racketeering, on the sex trafficking charges. So no, this wasn't expected in any sense.
What's the appeals process like? How long could that take?
Oh, that could take years, I think. And I have to check with the New York courts if they're slower than other courts.
Is it unusual that he didn't get bail?
Yeah, I found it very unusual that he didn't get bail, because he could have put up a bail package that included, electronic monitoring and all kinds of things. But you think back to Sam Bankman-Fried, his bail package was unbelievable, and the judge refused it. So they're afraid that when they have that much wealth, that there's some way that they're going to find a way to get out of the country when they're facing life in prison. So that's why, but it also, when they do that, when they lock them up, it hampers their ability to prepare their defense with their lawyers, because lawyers have to then make appointments to see them. They can only see them in certain circumstances. So it really does hurt the defense's preparation to have to, go out to Brooklyn and make appointments to see them. So I don't think he's going to be getting bail at all, but we'll see.
So what happens next? What are you looking toward in terms of moving forward?
Well, there'll be a sentencing. I don't know if the judge has set a date for the sentencing, and then there'll be appeals.